Alright guys, I'm going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. Made a video maybe a couple months back about a Benelli Super Vinci. I have since put about 200 rounds through the gun. It has performed pretty well. I have had one failure with it, failure to feed with 1 1/8 ounce loads. I have not shot any more 1 ounce loads through it after buying it. Tried to cycle probably 6 rounds through it, and it did not cycle hardly any of those. So what I have today is I've got my Super Black Eagle 3 12 gauge, and I've got the Super Vinci out here. I just wanted to kind of do a little test, kind of for me, kind of for y'all, and see how the Super Vinci is going to perform with light loads. I'm not really concerned about it cycling heavy duck loads or anything like that. I think it's going to do fine. Typically whenever you start seeing malfunction, it's going to be with the light loads. So I have 3 different rounds. I've got both shotguns. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot 3 of each out of each shotgun. I have never really had my Super Black Eagle 3 to fail. I cannot remember the last cleaning on the Super Black Eagle 3. I have not shot the gun just a ton. The Super Vinci, I did pull it apart and clean it just the other day. It has maybe 6 rounds or so through it since the cleaning. So the rounds that I have today are going to be Federal Top Gun. These are the light loads. This is a 1 ounce load. It's 8 shot. It's traveling at 1,180 feet per second. Of course, it's 2 3/4. So this is the lightest stuff that I have. Apparently, I only have like 2 boxes of 1 ounce loads. Most of your stuff that you're going to find is 1 1/8 ounce. But we will shoot these Federal Top Guns here. We got just a partial box. We'll shoot these. So that's going to be the lightest load, and then we'll work our way up to a Winchester Universal. It's a 12 gauge 2 3/4, advertised at 1 1/8 ounce. It's 7.5 shot at 1,200 feet per second. I believe these shells are when I had one failure to feed with the Super Vinci, but I have shot them pretty successfully out of the gun. Also, the next load is going to be these Rio game loads. They are 12 gauge. Naturally, I brought the box that has the ripped off cover, but they're 1,280 feet per second, 1 1/8 ounce load, 8 shots. So these are what I was been dove hunting with. I have not had a malfunction out of these in the Super Vinci. And in my experience, I've had 1 1/8 ounce Winchesters, those same universal loads, mixed in with these, and these to me seem like they are considerably hotter. I know they're about 80 feet per second faster, and like I said, it seems to really like these shells. So we'll start out with the Super Black Eagle 3. We'll run these Federal Top Guns out of it and see if it's going to malfunction with these. We'll put 3 in here. I'm just shooting in this little pine thicket behind my house here, so ran all 3 of those great. We'll run over into the Super Vinci here. Like I said, I've never had an issue with that Super Black Eagle 3 cycling shells. Make sure my safety's on. All these guns were clear before I brought them out. Alright, so Federal Top Gun 1 ounce loads in the Super Vinci. It ran all those good. That's weird. I've had those jam before in the Super Vinci. The ejection pattern out of the Super Vinci, it's casting shells probably a foot to a foot and a half closer than the Super Black Eagle. So it does seem like it's not ejecting those shells out of the chamber quite as far as the Super Black Eagle. All right, we'll move over to the Super Black Eagle running the 1 1/8 Winchester Universal loads. I don't suspect we will have any trouble at all with these. Let's give it a go. Ran those fine. All right, same load, Winchester Universals, out of the Super Vinci. Failure to feed. So this is the type of failure that I've been having on this gun when it does fail, which, like I said, is not too terribly often, but you can see the bolt will come about halfway back, and it's almost like that the friction as your floor plate hinges upwards, it's almost like the friction of that next shell almost causes a stoppage on it. So blew the action all the way back. If we would have had another round in there, it would have fed it and cycled fine. Even on that last shell, sometimes I will still have it kind of midpoint there, signaling that it probably would have had another stoppage. So maybe it's not the friction of the next oncoming shell, maybe it just doesn't have enough blowback to get the bolt all the way to the rear of the receiver. So we'll run the Rios. We'll run them out of the Super Black Eagle. And so we're good. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull the gun just a little bit off my shoulder, give it just a little bit more room so it doesn't have as firm of a backstop, which is gonna be me, to take the recoil, and we'll see if we can induce a malfunction that way, okay? Nope. And we're good. So no failures out of the Super Black Eagle 3, which is what I've come to expect out of this gun. Neither gun, worth mentioning too, neither gun have had a quote-unquote break-in. The Super Black Eagle 3, it really doesn't have that many rounds through it, but it does have probably maybe 4 to 5 boxes of duck loads through it. But I have shot the gun before that, just shooting these cheap ounce and 1/8 target loads, and I've not had a stoppage with the gun at all. So we're gonna run the Rios through the Vinci. Again, I've had no issues with these shells through that gun, but we might do the same thing, just see if we can induce a stoppage, kind of pull it away from my shoulder just a little bit to see if we can get one to hang up. All right. So Super Vinci with the Rios here. All right, go one. And that was the furthest ejecting shell yet. It was almost at the base of my camera tripod there. I'm gonna pull it away from my shoulder a little bit. Let's see if we can maybe induce a malfunction. Nope, cycled beautifully. And that's that. So, the Super Vinci, in my opinion, I shoot that gun for whatever reason better than I do my Black Eagle. Like I said in my other video, I still have yet to shim my Super Black Eagle. The Vinci is probably what I'm gonna be carrying most of the time to duck hunt and shoot. For whatever reason, I like the gun better. I feel like it shoulders better, fits me better, points better. And I shot it extremely well during dove season this year so far. Hadn't been a lot of action, hadn't shot it a ton. Like I said, I probably got about 200 rounds through it, just mixed shooting it around the house. And we've got a date coming up where we're gonna do a little sporting clays shoot with it. And but I really just wanted to make this video because you see a lot of things online about the reliability in the Super Vincis, not wanting to shoot 1 ounce loads, and some even 1 1/8 loads. I've heard some people complain about it, not wanting to cycle those. But I have had no issues, especially with the Rios. Now, as you saw, we did have 1 stoppage with the Super Vinci. Supposedly those are 1 1/8 Federal universal shells. But you can noticeably hear the difference between, or at least I can, through the camera you may not, but I feel like I can noticeably tell the difference between shooting those 1 1/8 universal loads versus the 1 1/8 Rios. The Rios do seem quite a bit hotter. Even recoil, I can feel it. You can hear it as well as feel it through the gun. So again, the shells that we shot were the Federal 1 ounce Top Gun loads, the Winchester Universal 1 1/8 7.5 shot, and then the Rio 1 1/8 1280 feet per second. Like I said, I've had good luck with those shells. I bought a case of them. Now when we go shoot the sporting clays, I'll probably try to conserve those a little bit because I planned on using those during dove season. And I will probably end up picking up some cheaper 1 1/8 loads similar to the Winchester Universals, and we'll run those. I might bring a couple boxes of those Rios if I start getting tired of potentially having some malfunctions. I know that those shells are going to work. So I hate when a gun is picky on shells. When you spend that much money on a shotgun, I feel like they ought to run everything. But I'm willing to sacrifice that a little bit just with the feel of the Super Vinci. I really do like that shotgun. So anyway, y'all let me know what y'all have done, if y'all have any stoppages or notice any malfunctions with y'all's Super Vincis. I guess the discouraging thing with the Super Vinci is they no longer make the shotgun. Like I said in my last video, I bought a new old stock shotgun, and I kind of looked up for parts on Benelli's website and second party vendors, and there's really not much out there. There is one part in the shotgun that is kind of concerning. I did some digging on. It's a little plastic retainer piece that goes in the back of the bolt. Had a gentleman message me, or he commented on my last video, said that he found some through, I think it was Midwest Gun Supply or something like that. I had already bought 8 from Gunbroker. They're relatively inexpensive. They're like $15 a piece. So I bought 8 from Gunbroker. The guy was upcharging. I can't remember how much I paid for them, but then he told me that he had found some on Midwest Gun Supply and they were still in stock, so I bought another 6 from there. I mean, that kind of tells you how much I like the gun. I want to shoot it for years to come. But every time you break that shotgun down to clean it and actually pull the bolt out of it, that flimsy little plastic piece doesn't look like it's long for this world. So it is nice having several extras on that. It's got like a little ear tab up top that when you push it in the receiver, there's grooves in the back of the receiver, and it kind of grabs and holds the action and everything in the gun. So I don't know if it would function without it. You might could push it through and clear it, and you may not even have to have that ear tab intact and the gun might still run. I don't know. That might be worth seeing if I do ever break a tab off one, just to see if the gun will still function with without that ear tab. But anyway, I figured y'all might want to see that little reliability test. And yeah, that's it. If there's anything else, y'all leave a comment, ask me a question, whatever. I don't mind answering. And we'll see y'all next time.